That's a long time, man.
Amen.
And then Miss Susie Lewis would gather the kids up. Somebody remember that name? Miss Susie Lewis would gather the kids up in the neighborhood and bring us to Vacation Bible School. And see, back then it was 2 weeks.
All right.
And we would come every year. Because I was a preacher's kid and I loved church, I would come on Sundays because I liked Sunday school. We had church at my dad was a pastor. We had church at 7 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
So by the time we finished church and Sunday school, I could come here for Sunday school and then church.
Amen. Amen.
And I did that as a kid almost every Sunday.
Amen.
And
Amen.
so I go back to Reverend Alvin Corey days. That's how far back I go. And so we thank God. Matter of fact, the song that I prayed, Consecrate Me Now to Thy Spirit, Lord, by the power, I learned that song in this church.
Amen.
That's how far back I go. And so I praise God for this opportunity to share with you. Doc Early, it's good to see you again. I don't know if you remember who I am.
Yes, I do.
All right. Matter of fact, I want to talk to you after. Doc Early used to have tapes of all the good preachers. Amen. I'm talking about before the CD time. I'm talking about he had tapes. Yeah, so we thank God for seeing you. And again, Sister Dawson Alivis and some of the others who are a little bit older than me. God bless you. It's good to see all of y'all. Don't you stop smiling now, you know. It's good to see y'all. I remember your faces and all of that. So, I was going to sing, but since Pastor Robin did that, I don't have that to worry about. So we can just go straight to the Word of God.
Amen.
And 2 Kings.
Yes, sir.
2 Kings in the 6th chapter. 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, beginning in verse 1. Here's the word of the Lord in the New King James translation. Reads on this wise. The sons of the prophets said to Elisha, "See now, the place where we dwell with you is too small for us. Please let us go to the Jordan, and let every man take a beam from there, and let us make there a place where we may dwell." So he answered, "Go." Then one said, "Please consent to go with your servants." And he answered, "I will go." So he went with them. And when they came to the Jordan, they cut down trees. But as one was cutting down a tree, the iron axe head fell into the water, and he cried out and said, "Alas, master, for it was borrowed." So the man of God said, "Where did it fall?" And he showed him the place. So he cut off a stick and threw it in there. And he made the iron axe head float. Therefore he said, "Pick it up for yourself." So he reached out his hand and took it.
Wow.
The Lord bless the reading, hearing, living, and loving of his word. You may be seated in his presence. I want to talk for the moments which are ours to share in and from the word of God, from the subject, there's a way to get it back. There's a way to get it back. Come on, say that with me. There's a way.
There's a way
to get it back.
to get it back.
Amen. How many of you know that?
Amen.
How many of you believe it?
Yeah.
Somebody ought to know that there is a way to get it back. You probably are wondering what it is.
What?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes life goes exactly like you want it to go.
Yeah.
And if you're particularly blessed, then you have no worries, no stress, or no strain. But often when you're doing your very best, going about life in the best way you can, working through all of the challenges with ease, and you're making it like nobody ever thought you would. Things are going good.
Yes.
But something happens.
Yeah.
Knocks the wind out of your sails.
Yeah.
Causes your knees to buckle. Causes your heart to tremble. And your soul to shake. Anybody lived there before? When your relationships were moving along perfectly and you would describe yourself as happy, and blessed. When your children were performing exactly like you wanted them to perform and doing exactly as you had prayed and asked God that they would do. And things were going extremely well when the job just kept giving you promotion after promotion and raise after raise, when you knew there were people more qualified and more connected and things were going, when church was wonderful and worship was great, and every Sunday you left walking on clouds of glory because you worshiped in the high place in the Holy of Holies. And when you went down from that mountain, you had nourishment and nurture that would take you through the next week until you came back again. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. But sometimes when things are going that way, the devil has a way of hitting you from the blind side, or the broad side, the back side, or the front side, and causing your good world to shake and tremble as though it was falling completely apart. Is there anybody here who has experienced that? Is there anybody here who knows that sometimes, even when things are the best, that you can have trouble that rocks your world? Like the earthquakes that hit Alaska the other day, the fires that came through California, the floods, or the snow, or the rain that comes into people's lives that causes them to have to start all over again. Is there anybody here who knows what I'm talking about? Is there anybody here who has an appreciation for the fact that sometimes when things are going extremely well, that something can just take you out of that place? Well, that's what happens in our text today. Prophet Elisha, Elijah's understudy and protege. Elisha, who would receive the mantle of the prophet when Elijah was taken up on that whirlwind of fire. That protege of the prophet Elijah, who would then assume the role of the prophet once God took him on those chariots of fire. Now he has a broad and wonderful ministry, Pastor. He's traveling throughout Israel, making sure that the people of God's spiritual needs are taken care of. He's preaching here and giving a prophetic word there and ministering to somebody's heart and home over here. He's going around doing what he has been called and consecrated to do. He's walking in his calling. In addition to that, he is the president and professor at a school of theology for the young prophets. And so when he comes back to the seminary, to the prophetic place where his students have been waiting on him because they knew the importance of making sure that the next generation of spiritual leaders were sound and founded in the Word of God, in the ways of God. So while they're in seminary, he comes back, and the seminary is doing so extremely well. It's blowing up. They are burgeoning and busting at the seams. There's so many people in the school, at the college, in the university, that there's not enough place for everybody. The dormitory is overstacked and overpacked. When they go to the cafeteria, there's not enough seats for everybody to sit down and eat. Somebody has to stand up and eat. When they get to the classroom, they can't even study and write because they're too close upon each other. Things are blowing up at the seminary. So when the prophet comes back, gets back from one of his missionary prophetic journeys, one of the students says, "Sir, as you can see, the place where we meet with you is too small. So we have a vision to go down by the Jordan and build a new school." They say, let's go down by the Jordan. Now, that river should sound familiar to you. Jordan has a special spiritual significance in the history of Israel. It was the Jordan where Naaman would bathe 7 times and be healed from his diseased skin. It was the Jordan River that they would cross and go over unto Transjordan, as they called it, into the promised land. It was the Jordan River. Down at the Jordan where John was baptized again, Jesus came, and John said, behold the Lamb of God who come to take away the sins of the world. And John said, I'm not worthy, not even to unlatch your sandals. And Jesus said, suffer it to be so now. And John baptized Jesus in the Jordan. The Jordan River has significance spiritually for the people of God. And so they said, let's get closer to the flow of God. Somebody go get that. So the prophet, knowing that the vision hadn't come through him, says, all right, go. But one of them says, this is what the language of the King James says, one of them said, sir, will you lead us?
Look.
He was wise enough to know that if this is a spiritual journey, if this is a ministry activity and event, we dare not go before the man of God. I wish I had a witness here. Sometimes you can get out, not that God can't speak to you, but when God speaks to you, you can't run ahead of the man of God. And the prophet didn't say, okay, let's go. He said, no, you go. But the young seminarian who spoke out at first said, no, we can't go unless you lead us. That's what the prophet needed to hear. The prophet needed to hear from his students, from his prophetic proteges, that he needed to hear, sir, we know we are also in the prophetic line. But we know that you are God's man for this time. And so we're going to follow your leadership. He wanted to know that he had the confidence of his students, his followers, his proteges before he went to do what God had called all of them to do. So they get down by the Jordan. They are whistling while they work. Things are going well. They got different crews set up. They got crews to cut down trees. They got crews to pull up the stumps. They got crews to take the trees and cut the branches off and decide which branches can be used, because they got to make chairs. They got to make tables. They're determining which can be used just for fire to keep them warm in the night. They got different crews. Everybody's working. A crew over here, a crew over there. They're by the Jordan. They can hear the babbling waters of the Jordan as they begin to roll past them. They can hear the waters and the wind as it whistles through the trees. They are whistling, brother, while they work. They're chopping down trees. There's that chopping down trees. When you read it in the original language in Hebrew, you know that the same one who gave the vision and the same one said, we ain't going without you. He's chopping down a tree.
Look.
And as he's chopping down his tree, everybody is working. They're doing what they're supposed to do. He's got an axe that's been borrowed. And he's chopping down his tree. And as he swings his axe, he swings back. And when he gets ready to come forward, he knows that the axe handle is lighter than it was the time before. He looks back over his shoulder, Brother Rob, just in time to see the axe head twirling through the air, and watch it sink into the midst of the Jordan, and listen as it goes beneath the surface of the waters, and feel the weight of the axe head as it goes into the river bed, not the bank, but the bed. At the deepest part of the river, it goes down. Sometimes when you're doing what you've been called to do, being led by the man of God, honoring your spiritual journey, even in the best of times, something can go wrong and knock you off of your feet. They can throw your life out of balance. It can cause you to have problems you never knew you could have. And when it happens, this man teaches us that even though he lost it, he teaches us that there is a way to get it back. He watched it get away from him. He saw himself losing it, and And when he lost it, he gives us these 4 things to know how to get it. You want to know what it is?
Yeah, I want to know that.
But since you want to know, I think I ought to tell you.
Yeah.
The first thing that happens is he hollers.
What?
The text says, oh! But it was a borrowed axe. I know when I read it, I said he cried alas and aloud. But no, he cried like something was wrong because something was seriously wrong. It was a borrowed axe head. I need you to get that. It was his to lose. He had just borrowed it. He had it on loan.
What?
That meant he had to give it back to whomever he borrowed it from. And because the axe at that time was not only a weapon of war, let the church say weapon of war.
Weapon of war.
It wasn't just a battle weapon, but it was also a utilitarian tool, an instrument of taking care of his family.
Yeah.
So in addition to it being a battle axe, it was also an axe that was used to produce resources to take care of his family.
Yeah.
Not the one who lost it, but the one he borrowed it from. And so knowing the significance of the axe head and that he didn't have the resources because Aaron was rare to replace it, then his life was thrown into convulsion. Because not only would he have to drop out of school to try to work to get the axe back, he wouldn't have been able to stay and learn what God had called him to learn. And so he hollered. Now let me put this in language you can understand.
All right, say it.
When you lose that which knocks you out of balance and off out of your equilibrium, you ought to cry at the level of your loss. If you're taking notes, that's number 1. You got to learn how to cry at the level of your loss.
What?
Come here.
Let's see,
See,
Reverend.
we've come to a place where we like to worship God politely. And we want people to think we got it all together all the time. We don't want nobody to see the raggedy edges of our lives. We get a pink slip, but we don't tell nobody for 3 months because we don't want them to know that we don't know how we're going to keep paying the mortgage. And how long it's going to be before the repo man comes and get the new car we bought the month before we lost our job. We don't want nobody to know that our relationship is getting out of whack because we've been bragging on Facebook about how much in love we are. We don't want anybody to know that our children got caught up with the wrong crew and they were in jail the other night and you easily went and got them out and you prayed for somebody to help them get out. And so we come in church with our sanctified clothes on. We come into church with our best, our Sunday's best on. And we act like nothing is wrong. And when the altar prayer is prayed, we don't dare say, Pastor, would you please pray for me? No, what we do is we act like things are now the way they've always been. So we don't cry at the level of our loss. And that's what's killing us. Because we're bottling up a whole lot of stuff that is creating stress in our bodies. That stress is taking a toll on our hearts and on our lungs and on our digestive systems. And that's why somebody will be here today and gone tomorrow. You see somebody at church right now and this evening or tomorrow when they come to leadership training, they won't be here. You say, I was just talking to them because they held in some stuff they should have got out. That's why the old church didn't mind coming crying out to the Lord. They didn't mind weeping and wailing to the Lord. They didn't mind lying on their face to the Lord. They cried at the level of their loss. Notice what the man does. He cries. He doesn't say, as he tiptoes up behind the prosecuting side, I mean the body, but can I talk to you over here to the side? for one moment, I got a problem. I lost somebody's axe head, and I don't know. He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
No, Reverend.
No.
No.
He doesn't go up to him and say, listen, lean your ear over. Let me. No, he doesn't do that.
My Lord.
Because he realized how great his loss was.
Yeah.
So he cries in a way that matches his loss.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he lost so much he cried with everything in him. He didn't wait until axe head fell into the deep bed. As it was going down, he cried at the level of his loss.
All right.
One of the reasons that black men's lifespan is 8 to 10 years shorter than black women's, and then white women, and then white men, and then white women, is because we bottle too much stuff up. And then we pass that stuff on generation. We're not emotionally balanced. Let me see here.
Lord.
I don't mean to get personal with anybody's situation, because I don't really know. I ain't lived here in 30 years, so if I walk on your street, just know it's God walking, not me. But I've heard, I keep up with the news in my hometown about how many young black men are killing their wives and their girlfriends because the relationship has gotten out of whack. And rather than go and talk to somebody so they can cry at the level of their loss, they bottle it up until they blow their top. And then they lose it and do something they regret doing for the rest of their life. We've got to learn how to cry. Pastor ought not have to tell you praise God. Pastor ought not have to try to cajole you to give up worship. Pastor ought not have to try and make you sing the songs of the Lord. When I think about the goodness of the Lord and all He's done for me, where He's brought me from, what He's brought me over, and how He's brought me out, and I know how to cry at the level of my Lord. You just think right now for a moment about where you used to be and what you used to do. And you think about where God has you now. You ought not only be able to cry in bad times at the level of your loss, but you ought to be able to worship in good times at the level of your blessing. And at the level of your power. Hold on, let me get on to the next point before I lose you. Listen. Cry at the level of your loss. He goes to the prophet. He realizes that I need the man of God. And that's what's consistent about him. He didn't tell the man of God, we're going to do this without you. We're going to do it with you. When he loses something, he goes again to the man of God. He knows where to go. He knows who feeds his soul. He recognizes who has spiritual care of him. He goes to the man of God. And he cries at the level of his loss. And here's the thing. What do you expected the prophet to do?
Look.
I mean, really, I can commiserate with you.
My Lord.
He ain't nothing but a man like I am. He put his pants on the same way I do.
That's what they say, bro.
Why do I need to go? He doesn't say any of that. He recognizes that God has given this prophet a special dispensation for his life. Not just in good times, but also in troubled times. He goes to the man of God, and the man of God says, where did you lose it? And he says, show me the place where it went in.
That's a good spot, bro.
That would have messed me up. Show you the place? What do I mean show you the place? I'm trying to tell you how much trouble I'm in. And you telling me about something? Show me the place. And the second point is, for those who are taking notes, the second point is, you can't find it where you didn't lose it. Listen, if you lost it in Baton Rouge, ain't no sense in going to Bogalusa to find it. Yeah, if you lost it in New York, you can spend all the time you want searching through New Orleans, you ain't gonna find it there. He said, show me the place. Let me just help you. This is not just a geographical thing for those of us who are alive today. This is a spiritual, emotional, mental thing. In other words, there are a whole lot of folk folk walking around hurt and disturbed and troubled and with problems that they can't even add up. And they're trying to fix their problems in places they didn't find them. They didn't lose them.
Yeah.
In other words, you had trouble in your home growing up. Dysfunction. Let the church say dysfunction. And all our families got dysfunction.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you're single parent, double parent, or triple parent. You got dysfunction.
Yeah, brother.
I don't care if all the babies by one. Let me see. But we got dysfunction in all of our families.
Yeah.
But we try to fix it by getting someone outside of our family to make us feel better about what happened in our family. Let me say this very clearly.
Look.
Listen. If the dysfunction that you experienced growing up in your family was such that it left you fractured and fragmented, when you marry somebody, even if you think they are whole and wonderful, you're going to take that fractured self and that fragmented self and take that and wed it to their wholeness, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to crack them up too. You're going to mess them up because you don't even know how to love. You've never seen it. You ain't never experienced it. All you know is abuse, misuse, and it may not even have been intentional because your parents had some stuff that wasn't dealt with. And their parents had some stuff. And that's why you see children acting like their great-grandfather who was dead long before they were ever born. And not only do they look just like them, I was counseling with a man just on yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said to me, one of the most beautiful things I ever heard. His wife, beautiful wife, wonderful family, they're raising their children well. He said, but the reason that is because when I met my wife, her mother was a schizophrenic. And her father was a deadbeat dad. It was 10 children that grew up in a one-bedroom house. She never had a bed. And so when he asked her to marry him, she said, listen, I come from a messed up background. She's crying at the level of her life. I'm not trying to pretend to you that I'm some princess that I ain't who ain't ever had no problem. No, we had problems. My daddy never showed me how to love. My daddy never showed me how to, he never loved me. So if we gonna make this work, I know you come from a two-parent family, whatever love in your family you had, all the things that I only wish I had. I don't know how to love, and I won't know unless you show me. In other words, she had to find it where she lost it. And not think that she could get healing from her hurt without being honest about what hurt her in the first place. All right, for those of you who are taking notes, number 3, y'all ready?
Yes.
Number 3 is in the text where when the prophet says, show me where you lost it, he takes the prophet Elisha to where the axe head brother early went down into the midst of the Jordan.
Yes, sir.
The prophet takes a tree branch
Yeah.
and takes a stick off the branch.
Lord.
And as he's doing this, y'all come on with me by the Jordan. All of y'all lost your axe head.
Talk to us.
Or maybe you just lost your... And you told the prophet where it was, and you didn't understand that.
Yes, sir.
But then when he takes a branch, turns away from where you lost it, and then he takes a stick off the branch. And you notice that first of all, the stick ain't even long enough to reach to the bottom, not even to where it went in. And so your mind, what the world he about to do? Some of y'all ain't say world, but what the world he about to do with this stick?
Yeah.
He throws it into the place where the thing went in. That meant he ain't expecting to somehow balance the axe head on the edge of this stick and lift it. He just throws it in. They're all standing around by now because he hollered at the level of his law. So he stopped all the crews from working. The prophet says, show me the place. They all came to the banks of the Jordan, and they watching now to see what the prophet's going to do. They're thinking like the other prophets who were thinking, what in the world is he about to do? I'm glad it wasn't me that lost my axe head. I don't know how he's going to get that back, and it wasn't his to lose in the first place. So I don't know what the prophet, what are you doing with that stick? How you going? And he throws the stick in, and the stick sinks.
Yes, sir.
But then the axe head floats.
Yeah.
First they hear the gurgling and the bubbling of the axe head as it makes its way back to the surface of the water.
Yeah.
And you know what they're doing? They stand around looking.
Yeah.
And for a long time, Pastor Rob, I wouldn't preach this text. This is one of my favorite. I had stories of the Bible for children when I was a little boy.
Yes, sir.
And I read that, and this story was in that book.
My Lord.
And I never knew. And I've been preaching almost 35 years now.
Lord.
And I never knew what, pastoring for almost 30 years now, never knew what to do with that axe head fly. I couldn't explain it. There was no sound or reasonable or scientific or logical way to explain. Now, because you know the iron doesn't have buoyancy.
No, it's going to sink, brother.
So it sank.
Yeah.
Now, how he got that process to reverse and float, I do not know. I can't tell you to this day, and I wouldn't touch this text because I thought I had to explain to the people.
How you got that float?
But one day I was preaching at Howard University Divinity School as a guest preacher. I had gone to school there some 20 years, 25 years before, and I had gone to preach. This was just a couple of years ago. And while I was there preaching, I actually preached this text. And one of my professors who had just started at the school when I got there, now he was retired. Professor Willett said, after I preached sermon, he says, why would you preach that text? You know there's not a logical, reasonable, scientific, metaphysical way to explain that. Physics can't even explain what happened.
My Lord.
And I said to him what I say to you, and this is point number 3. It ain't my business how it happened, just to celebrate that it happened. I don't know how God does what he does. He just does it. He doesn't explain nothing to me. He doesn't tell me how. He doesn't give me a cheat sheet. He just does. Listen, you ever been in a place and you thought you would never get out, but the Lord made a way where there wasn't no way? You ever had a family member to get sick and the doctor said, we've done all we can do. She's got 3 or 4 months or 2 or 3 years to live, and so she got to get a business in order. Now it's 25 years later and they're still here. You ever had a problem in your life and you didn't know how to solve it, and somebody asked you how? And that's one of the reasons that we don't shout like we used to shout. Because we can't explain to people how Jesus saved us, how he brought us out, and how he made a way. So rather than try to explain it, we keep our mouths quiet. But I stopped by today to tell you that ain't nothing wrong with telling folks, I don't know how. He keeps on blessing me, but he keeps on doing it anyhow. I don't know why he keeps on doing it the way he does it, but he does it anyhow. And so I'm not going to base my praise on knowledge. I'm going to base it on trust. I'm going to base it on faith. I'm going to base it on the fact that I know I ain't where I used to be. And I can't tell you exactly how I got here. So it ain't your business to explain to nobody what the Lord has done for you. What is your business? It's to celebrate that the Lord did it for you. Is there anybody here First thing is, you got to cry at the level of your loss. Second thing is, you got to find it where you lost it. The third thing is that it ain't your business to explain how the Lord does what he does, but just praise the Lord that he does what he does. But then the fourth thing is, they're still standing around now on the banks of the Jordan. And the prophet has already caused the axe head to float. And they're just looking at it wondering what to do. Everybody's mouth is open now. And they're just looking because their brains can't wrap around the fact that this axe head has come up to the surface. The prophet looks at him, sees they're not moving, and said, reach out and grab it. He said, grab it like you want it. God will bring things up, but in order to get it, you've got to be willing to reach out and grab it. Yeah, he'll give you a job, but you got to go apply for it. He'll improve your situation, but you got to give him something to work with. He'll bless your life, but you got to bring your life in alignment with his will. You got to be willing to reach out. Hold up before I go too fast. Now to reach out, standing on the bank, he brought it up to the surface, but he didn't bring it in. So the man had to stretch himself out over the water, risk falling in himself, and grab what the Lord brought to him. I wish I had a witness here. You got to be willing to show some faith and put your trust in the Lord and step into that inexplicable place, into that area that you can't explain, and reach out and grab what the Lord's trying to give back to you. You can have it back. You can get it back, but you got to be willing to reach out and grab it. Is there anybody here who's willing to reach out and grab it? There's some risk in it, but the risks are not greater than the reward. You risk falling in, but if the Lord brought up the axe head, he can bring you up too. You got to reach out and grab it. You've been walking around with your head down because the joy has gone out of your heart. But I stopped by today to tell you you can get your joy back, but you got to reach for it. You mad today because somebody promised they would love you forever, but then they turned around and walked out. God will give you love back, but you got to be willing to reach out and grab it. Somebody used to have peace even in the midst of a storm, but your peace walked out of the door one day. God will give you your peace back, but you got to be willing to reach out and grab it. I stopped by today just to ask one question. Is there anybody here who's willing to stand on your feet, throw your hand back, throw your hand out, reach out and grab it? Grab the joy, grab the blessing, grab the love, grab the peace, grab the understanding. Will you grab it? Will you hear me say yes? I can hear you say yes. Say yes. Reach out. Somebody told you what you couldn't be and what you would never do. And your daddy didn't do it. And your granddaddy wasn't on me either. But God said your family might have lost it 3 generations ago. But if you're willing to reach out and grab it, God will bring it back to you. Is there anybody here who will reach out and grab what the Lord has for you? If you're willing to reach out, prove it to me. Show it to me. Reach your hand up laptops, these iPads, these computers, and we figure we can reach anything on here through Google. We can find everything we need to know through Google. And so when we go out, we're not willing to tell somebody whose head is hanging out like I was used to hang about what the Lord has done for us. Because we can't explain how God came in the world through Jesus. The Bible says through an unaware and virgin maiden. Because we can't explain it, we don't talk about Mary so much. And then when we talk about that we've been saved, and we don't know how God went into the grave and God crucified Jesus and raised him up. Because while we're trying to talk about it, somebody's on Google saying it's impossible for a man who died to be brought back to life. And when they tell you to tell them how he did it, all you're supposed to say is, I don't know how the Lord lifted Jesus from the grave. I don't know how he beat Satan back in the hell. I don't know how the Lord did it, but I know that. I said, I know that the Lord did it. And if you want it back, you got to put out of your mind what people might think, and what people might say, and what people might do. There was a woman who used to come into a church, and every Sunday morning she would praise the Lord like the Lord had just delivered her. And when she praised the Lord, there was some sophisticated folk who would move away from it. And some of them would talk about it. But that woman just kept on praising the name of the Lord. You see, she was an older woman now. Her hair had turned gray. Her back began to bend. And she made her way by leaning on a cane. None of her physical problems bothered her. Sometimes she would let her cane go when she do a holy dance. And people didn't know why this old mother was shouting the way she was shouting and praising the way she was praising and amen and when the preacher preached. So one day, a young woman joined the church. This young woman had big problems in her life. Her husband had left her with 7 children to raise on her own. She didn't have a great education. She didn't have a good job. And the church said, we can't do much to help her. But that old lady heard when she was walking out of the church door about this woman's problems. And she said, look at her baby. Look at every one of your babies. God gave you every one of them. I don't care how they got here. They're here because God gave them to you. And if God gave them to you, He'll help you to take care of them. Just put your trust in the Lord. The young lady looked at it and didn't know what she was talking about. She said, baby, I see you're hungry. And your babies are hungry. She said, come on, I just live 2 houses down. Come on, go home with me. I'll put something on the stove for you. And I'll take some out of the refrigerator. And I'm going to feed you and all of your children. I don't have much, but what I do have, the Lord gave it to me. And the Lord will want me to share it with you. The girl's eyes began to get bright. She hadn't had a good meal, and the children hadn't eaten well in quite some time. And she marched them on down the street to this lady's house. And see, the lady came to church by herself. So everybody thought she was just a little old lady who didn't have anybody who cared about her. But when she got home, it wasn't a big house. It wasn't a fancy house, but it was her house. A young girl walked in following her. She said, make yourself comfortable, baby. Sit down and take the weight off. Rest your nerves for a little bit while I go fix this food. And as the lady is fixing food, she began to hum some of them old songs. She began to hum something like, Father, I stretch my hand to thee, and all the help I can know. And as she hummed, she talked talked to the lady. She said, baby, you see them pictures sitting on my coffee table. She said, every picture represents one of my children. They don't live here now. But one day my husband walked out on me and he left me with these children to raise by myself. Like you, I didn't have much education and I didn't have a good job where I could take care of them. She said, but I did my best. I prayed over them every night when they went to sleep, and before they left in the morning, I prayed over my children. They went to school, and some of them got in trouble. But when they got in trouble, I went down to the school, and I made them know that I was going to have this in my house, because I'm the leader of my house. She said, and all my children finished high school. Every last one of them went to college, and the Lord allowed each one of them to have a good job. I got a doctor in them pictures. I got a lawyer in them pictures. I got a couple of professors in those pictures. Every last one of my children. And I don't have a pension, but every month they send me something so I can make it. And I'm trying to tell you that the same way that the Lord delivered me, the Lord can do it for you. And when you get them home, it ain't no secret what God can do. What He's got for us, He'll do it for you. He can bring you back from love. He can bring you back from alcoholism. He can bring you back from smoking pot. He can bring you back from a broken life. But you got to be willing to stand up. Speak out. Hold it like say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Won't the Lord do it? Won't He fix it? Won't He bring it out? Won't He give you joy? My friend Rudy McKissick was here. Rudy would say, won't He, won't He, won't He, won't He? Won't the Lord do it? Say yes.